Going to have a conversation with the great, ThaDon. Well, I'll get into a little bit of everything.
It's a lot of guidelines over there.
Don't worry about that. It's a good guidelines. Trust me.
Looks like the whole constitution in your hand.
Yo. But same way still, Arlen. Thanks for doing this, bro. First inaugural episode of ThaDon TV. It's only right that I do it with somebody that I respect, admire, pause. as it pertains to the music industry. First met you when I got to grammar school.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, a very long time ago. What I admire most, you were extremely disciplined at that time.
Ooh, yeah, I remember that time.
You were in a little group. And I always felt like music was always a part of your story as well too, because to be honest, that's the first time I actually saw a violin.
Really?
I think it was Rich
Warner.
Right, Dr. Rich Warner.
That's right, Dr. Rich Warner.
So let's be clear. So you following the path of, well, we're going to get into all of that, but you actually trying to follow the path of becoming a doctor. It wasn't, the music was surprising to me, as opposed to you actually be fulfilling that, that task of, or that goal, the journey, becoming a doctor.
The calling.
Right. So that's the first time I ever saw a violin, to be honest. And like actually saw it, and actually I tried to touch it, and which was like, yo, what the hell? And then that day I learned about, the strings on the violin,
right,
and the hair, and it's made
right,
from, and it's you have to clean it. I learned a lot that day, to be honest. But let's start with your upbringing. Arlen Seaton, you were born in Antigua?
Born in Antigua.
Born and raised in Antigua from a family of?
Complicated question to answer. My dad is a minister of religion. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I know.
He's the bishop of the Methodist Church in the Leeward Islands.
Why you making it sound like it's not a big deal, bro?
It is a big deal.
But you're making it sound...
And it's always been part of what it meant to be Arlen. Like, okay, cool. Church, that came first growing up. But what it meant was that we moved a lot. Okay. So when I was conceived, my parents were living in Montserrat. Okay. My mother is a patriot, so she decided that all her picnic were going to be born in Antigua.
So she flew over.
So she came home.
So she robbed you of that British passport, man.
Well, she didn't rob me. She blessed me with...
I'm just kidding.
With having the privilege of being born in Antigua.
Facts.
Okay. Shortly after I was born, the family got moved to Nevis. And then shortly after that, we moved to St. Kitts, where we were for maybe like a decade.
So for the first 10 years of your life? Well,
mostly St. Kitts.
St. Kitts, okay.
And then I moved to Antigua just in time for second form.
Nice. Okay. And then you got into grammar school. That's where, the whole...
That's where everything went awry.
I wouldn't have you. But, so music. Again, so being in the church, I'm assuming that you were on choir.
Walking cliche. So right, cool. All the church choirs. Sunbeam choir, youth choir, boys choir, even senior choir.
Obviously, you can't run from it. So instruments. What instruments you played coming to your tenure in the church?
Keys, but I'm by no means like a virtuoso pianist. I'm good enough to write.
You're better than me.
Well, maybe. I probably practice more than you.
The question is, have I ever practiced?
Well, there we go.
All right, so, and then from there, after grammar school, you decided, all right, cool. I think you went to State College with us as well,
I did 2 years State College, yeah.
And then after State College, what happened? What were you ventured into?
Morehouse College, Atlanta, Georgia.
Right there. And that's where you started your pre-med.
So, technically, I started Morehouse as a music and pre-med double major. It wasn't even a pre-med degree. It was a biology degree. Okay. So it was more of a general... Yeah, when I started, I was like, you know what? This medicine thing, boy. I wasn't sure. I still kind of wanted to become a doctor. I was good at science. And I think...
ever since I knew you were good at science.
And I think because of all the positive reinforcement that I got in it, I felt a certain degree of obligation to pursue that path.
So where did the transition happen? Because I asked that question because I remember in the early phases of Eminem music, going to the studio, you used to be there a lot. And at that time, you were technically still doing medicine. And I remember when I first got there and I saw you, or you were still on your journey studying, right?
Yeah.
And when I got to the studio, I remember one night men say, yo, we're going to the studio. When I got there, saw you in there, I was like, hey, long time no see. But why are you here? It's like, oh, I'm working. I was like, wait, hold up. What do you mean you working on music, bro? From ever since I knew you, it's always been science.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw music in grammar school, but I saw music as it was just another subject that everybody did. You understand? So when I saw you in the studio and I heard your vocals and I saw you working on production and I saw all that stuff, I was mind blown, bro. And then,
music was always there though. Always, like from the very, I think by the time I was in the studio at Brockway doing all of that music, I had been in at least like 20 choirs in my lifetime.
Man, I felt like for you, music always been a side woman, boss.
The side woman that I was in love with.
That's where you always go.
So I mean that
but that's how it normally is.
But that's how it was. It was always like the worst thing was in third form.
Yeah.
And we had to choose between art, physics, and music.
Yo,
man,
these kids today so privileged that they can do 60 to 70 subjects. Right?
We couldn't do that. Even
What?
I did 10 at the time.
Yeah.
And they didn't want me to do 10.
They were like, yo, that's too much. You need to focus and be precise.
Do the 8, get 8 ones, and
no, it's like people coming out with 23 subjects. I was like, yo, so he or she literally can choose whatever part they decide they want to choose. Whereas
that's one way to look at it.
I mean, you have all that subjects, so now you'd be like, especially if you got 1s and 2s, be like, all right, mommy, okay, this is what I want to do. Whereas for us, if you chose accounting, like personally for me, it was mostly business subjects coming through secondary school, state college. And then I got the opportunity to go to Cuba, and it was engineering.
Right.
Didn't do no physics, no science, no nothing. Only when I got there, they were like, all right, in Cuba, the system is designed where even if you go through that prep, when you get to your first year is everything you did in the 2 years of prep on steroids.
So here's the question.
Yeah.
Did you need to do prep in high school?
I didn't.
Exactly.
But it would have helped though, because everything on steroids. So whereas my friends at the time who actually did prep in those engineering fields spent their first year just like breezing, I had to spend my first year like.
And so the question still stands.
It still stands. So,
I feel like kids should be kids. You know what I mean? I feel like the most important part of our secondary education should be allowing us to be curious about things.
But I could give you a pushback on that though.
Go ahead.
Because the discipline that we gain through being focused and doing all of that is what's have you on this journey right now to stay disciplined in terms of trying to push the music, no? You wouldn't say that? I find you extremely disciplined when it comes to music, bro.
Yeah, but not because...
It's just the love.
Yeah, it's because I enjoy it. I have a good time.
Alright, so doing double major in Morehouse College, music and
biology.
Right.
And then somewhere along end of second year, beginning of third, my courses started to clash a lot.
And it was becoming a little bit more difficult.
And it was becoming really burdensome to do both. And so I had to answer the question, okay, do I really want to be a starving musician?
Yo, every time we have this conversation, right, you always use that terminology.
Because at the time, that's what I felt like it had to be.
Okay.
No one had ever said, you know, Arlen, you can't make money doing anything you want to do.
Facts.
You can make money selling shoelaces. No one told us this. It was always, you had to be a professional.
I felt like our parents always like just kept those things hidden and be like, these are the careers you need to do. These are where the money is. Everything else is just like, I think they knew, but I don't think they knew. You don't think so?
I don't, because remember, like, I think we have come a long way from slavery,
especially with digital transformation
and each generation post has a new challenge.
Correct.
Right? So coming out, the what you want is a job. Those first generations, you want to be employed. You want to have security of a job. And then by the time it got to our parents' time, everyone wanted a career, because you look around and those career people seem to be doing well. But it's our turn now, and we kind of learn, you know, it might be better to, instead of sell your time, right, to make money without having to be somewhere or to do a thing. it might be better to become an entrepreneur or an investor. Like no one ever spoke to us about money.
Right, it's like that. For me personally, I felt like entrepreneurship became a buzzword in like for the last decade, like in 2015.
Yeah,
everyone was like, "Yo, entrepreneurship."
But when we were in school, ain't nobody say that.
What? You better go and
get good grades so you can get a good job.
That is true. So okay, so classes start to clash, but you didn't quit immediately. I mean,
I never 100% quit. What I did was downgrade the major to just doing music classes in between.
Okay.
Because I front loaded so many of my courses for biology.
Right.
I had a lot of space in the last 2 years that other students might not have had. Yeah. So I still did 8 semesters of voice at college. I did voice every single semester. Matter of fact, I did voice. It was fun. Oh. It was a good time. Facts. And people, they were excited to be there. Like, if you didn't go in early to find a practice room for the day, you sucks up. Because somebody else beat you to it. Now you can't get in, you can't get a piano, you can't practice.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so that happened. So you still going through the phase, still going through the motion. At what point throughout your educational journey did you decide that, all right, listen, this medicine thing, I'm quitting? Like, what year did you get to? Like, the final year to...
Probably, like, right when I was about to graduate med school.
I asked the question because I want the people to know that that's where you decided to, like...
No. So, you met me in med school, writing...
I tried to convince you not to do it.
Writing music, and it's not like I decided... Can I swear on this podcast?
Course, yeah.
I didn't decide I'm never doing this medicine thing. Yeah. I had rotations to do, and that meant that I got the chance to try different things.
Correct.
So I didn't make my mind up immediately because I knew that there might be a chance I'd like something. Maybe I'd go up there and I'd like internal medicine. So I tried internal medicine, and sometimes it was rewarding, sometimes it was cool. But if I got a call in the morning that said, "Hey man, whatever is happening today is happening, so you don't have to come in," I'd be like, yes.
And you get to go to studio.
And you know what I'm going to do?
Go to studio, try to record at work.
Try to record something, try to write something new. And so I realized, man, I kind of want, actually, toward the end of med school, I went to a concert in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Name? Can't remember.
It was, the headliners were Silver Sun Pickups and Minus the Bear, rock bands. Okay. I went with Kenya Wetherill. He took me.
Sounds very up that alley.
I mean, the bands were amazing.
The rap part and Kenya, it just sounds exactly up that alley.
But the thing about that concert was, and this is in the context of me thinking, man, I've been through all these rotations. I don't know if I like too many of them.
Yeah.
Let's just go and have a good time. So I went with Kenya, and the lead singer of, I think it was Silver Sun Pickups, had a broken arm. But this guy isn't just a lead singer, he is a lead guitarist.
With a broken arm.
With a broken arm. And I'm watching this guy, you can, like, he's having a good time, but in pain.
So you're more concerned about, yo, what's up with that hand as opposed to...
But this guy is on stage having a great time. And the thing I kept thinking at that moment in this crowd was, if I had a broken arm, would I be going into the office to treat patients?
Facts.
And I'm like,
I don't know.
Man.
But if you had a broken arm, you had to sing.
I would have been on stage.
You would cut your paycheck just to hire extra guitarists just to cover your...
I would go on stage in a wheelchair because I wanted to be there. And for me, that was a bit of a revelation.
So Kenya is to blame for your parents not having a doctor in the family.
Kenya is to be rewarded.
Hey, at this present moment, you have to take blame because until I get that $1 billion deal or that $1 billion record, you know, that he got to take blame, bro.
It wasn't entirely Kenya's fault. It was like a confluence of events and influences.
Yeah. So how do your parents? I mean, that didn't go down well, I'm sure.
You know, it's rough. It's a little paradoxical.
Okay.
because my parents, they weren't happy.
Okay.
At the same time, no one has put more money into my music other than myself,
right,
than my mother. Much as she costs, she took out her wallet.
That motherly love, boy.
My mother has caught plane tickets to watch me on shows.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So like on one hand, and their consternation wasn't because they looked down on music. I think they just came from a place of concern. If my son does this thing with his life, is he really going to be okay? Is he going to be a starving musician?
And that's the beauty about having successful parents as well too, right? Because at some point they would literally look at you and be like, yo, at least he's happy doing what he wants to do, and it's a case where he's not causing any harm, he's bringing joy, maybe not on the grand scheme like she would think as being a doctor presently, but eventually you will get there with given the drive and the determination that you have, you know. And then she can see the talent as well too. Who would want to have a child that have that talent and try to suppress it, try to keep that in the box?
Yeah, I don't think my parents ever intended to do that. I think every challenge that we've had with me choosing this career path was just out of concern. So
after the whole, you know, conversation with them, and you know, they were like, all right, cool, you know what, this is what you want to do, this is what I'm going to do. How was that transition for you? How was that reality? Because I know some
difficult at first, because you want to be big man. The money that I put into college, you want to dash that out the window. I didn't pay for you to be singing on stage.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing ever, dude.
And so I had to pay my student loan because, hello.
You didn't finish.
I did finish.
No, I mean, you didn't finish as in the sense of actual practicing the
right.
actual medicine.
So I said, you know what? It's fine. It's my decision, so I'll take responsibility. And I paid my student loan.
All right, cool.
Over time, my parents realized that it was music that was paying the student loan.
Because you stuck with it, right?
Yeah. And now I think I don't need to call them and say, hey, mommy.
You're not so much distracted.
I want to do X, Y, Z. Can you please send me some? I don't have to do that.
All right. So the transition was difficult, as you explained just
at first.
Right. So that means you had to have a job and still be doing music in the evenings, though.
Yeah.
What was your first introduction into the actual performing world?
Church.
No, I mean outside.
You mean
church,
since then? Since,
you know, going through all of that, and since you're saying, okay, this is what I want to do with music, what's your first introduction like?
So while I was
outside of, since dropping medicine.
We have to make them sounds.
Okay, it sounds harsh, right? Okay, not since dropping medicine, but since choosing a different career path, so to speak.
Since I was in med school, I wasn't only in Brockway doing stuff. I used to go to expressions, poetry in the pub, right? That was with Zara A-Roll. And
yeah, that's true.
Right. It was an open mic vibe.
Excuse my ignorance.
I think on a Tuesday night. Was it a Tuesday night?
Yes, it was. It happened several locations. It happened at a cafe place right on the port.
Right.
That's the first one I went to that you invited us to, actually.
Right.
After our conversation at Brockway.
Right.
Exactly. And then you were doing poetry at the time.
And so that was a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Out of expressions came Soothe with Gemma Hazelwood, Taslim Gordon.
Correct.
And while I was still in med school, Gemma approached me, hey man, you know, I'm doing this show. I would love for you to be on there. I saw you at Expressions and I really feel like you'd be a good fit. But I was in school and I wasn't on island in March because I'd be doing rotation, whatever I was doing. Yeah, I wasn't there. And then, of course, who should show up immediately after I graduate to say, hey man, guess what's coming up?
Soothe. What are you doing?
Soothe is in March.
Yeah,
so
if it's one thing, he's very persistent. And you know.
So Soothe was, and the thing is, I didn't entirely decide not to practice medicine until after Soothe. So mommy's Gemma's fault.
So you take that blame off again. Alright, cool. So after Soothe, you got a little, and that's the Soothe. That Soothe was at Splash.
Splash Antigua.
I remember I went to that one. Yeah, I remember I went to that one because I think that, what year was that? I think that was
2018.
18, right? Yeah.
2018. Yeah.
Because I just came back from Barbuda at that time as well too.
I did a set of almost all original songs.
Yeah.
I think I did Skankin' Sweet as a cover. But the other songs were songs that we had come up with, and it was amazing to get that kind of validation from a crowd. Dude, when doing your own stuff.
You got a standing ovation, though.
I can't remember.
No, you did. There's a few, because I haven't been to all the suits. I think I've been to like 2. I think I've been to 2. And the first one, the one that you invited me to. And when I went and I saw this was a thing, because at the time at the time me and Gemma were cool. We like converse and everything, but I didn't know that was his event until I actually got there, and he was like, yo, yeah. And I saw Khan perform. I saw they brought this this poet from overseas as well to perform as well too.
I think that year might have been Jive Poetic from New York.
It was a breath of fresh air, to be honest, because it was something different from the regular, soca and calypso and all that.
I mean, we both love soca and calypso, right?
I'm saying it was a breath of fresh air.
But I get what you're saying.
It was just something different. All right, so after Sood, I guessing, people started to follow you. You started to bleed more into the music. What was the next step for you after Sood? You
started a band. We started a band after Sood called Black Gold.
Okay.
With Vanessa Gittins, Hani Hashmi, Che Ferris. Later came Ed George and Steve Williams and Tony Mayers.
And that band, you guys were doing like mostly what kind of gigs? Like
hotels? We didn't do hotels. We did a lot of bars, restaurants, and shows.
Okay. I know y'all did a few shows as well too that I've been to. And also, a few bars that,
we did Skullduggery was the big one. Tuesday. Yeah, every Tuesday.
I used to be out there. I mean, I'm not a drinker, but, I'd come out and have my cake and sip some tea, It was a good vibe. And you guys got a good reception out there, dude.
We did. We had fun.
It was like you guys are rock stars.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. What's up with Black Gold though?
Black Gold is dead.
That's harsh. But
no, I mean,
everyone transitioned to something.
It kind of took its course.
Okay.
Everyone had different priorities. And the band didn't make it. I'm sad. Very sad.
Throughout your time at Black Gold, what did you accomplish as a musician? I mean, you continue to write more songs. When did Black Gold officially like close the door?
I think pre-COVID, maybe. Just before COVID.
And just before then, you launched your EP. No. Your EP came in 2022.
It came after
2022. Yeah.
I didn't start releasing music on my own until after Black Gold was done. Because when I was in Black Gold, I was committed to doing everything with Black Gold. I didn't think about doing anything solo.
So wait, hold on. So you're saying there was a lot of songs that were written with that group?
There were a lot of songs that were written before the group that I was interested in doing with the group.
Yeah, because actually you had like almost maybe like
I had an album's worth of music.
Right, like about 15 songs before when I met you at Brooklyn.
Yeah.
All that time you were actually working on trying to put out an album, and then you were like, you know what, maybe I was rushing it. Let me take my time, learn the craft a little bit more, so on.
And on top of that, there were a couple songs that Black Gold did kind of jam together and come up with. Okay. Some of those we actually performed out at Scully's. So it was both. I wanted to bring songs to the group that we do together,
right?
But we also jammed a lot and we wrote some stuff together.
So nothing that you guys did together actually were put on wax then and were released.
We have one live recording on YouTube for a song called Them Changes, and that's the only thing we have recorded.
So what are we doing with all that music? What are we going to do with all that music? Or is that was just an exercise for you to move forward in the past going forward?
Black Gold is dead.
The guy said Black Gold is dead.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds. I would love to record some of this stuff, but everyone has to agree.
That's true. So after Black Gold, what happened for Arlen Seaton after Black Gold?
I had to be practical about music, and I realized that the only way a solo career would work is if I could fund the solo career. And so I started gigging more with Ricardo Anthony and his jazz band.
Yeah, Ricardo. Shout out to Ricardo, one of the best.
Rico is an amazing drummer. Yeah. So that was the next step.
An amazing personality as well too.
Yeah.
And those two things are understatement.
Huge personality, huge drums.
But what I like about him, right? His personality matches his musicianship.
Rico's a rock star.
Exactly. So he has, in my opinion, if that's one person I personally think has the right to, him and Uncle and Onion and them in the same bracket, then they had the right for this do and say and echo everything they want.
Rico has the persona of a rock star, but he also has the skill set of a rock star too.
And he's apart from all of that, you can meet him anywhere because he's a humble guy as well too.
Yeah,
you can extremely like you can
talk to Rico.
Yeah. Because the first time that we recorded actually at Rico's studio.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, Fet Me a Fet was recorded at Rico's studio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Benisa came in.
Antigua is so small. That's amazing.
Of us on the couch sleeping. So that's why I say that little studio that he has a lot of history.
You know, to this day, that's still one of my favorite all-time soca songs. Period. I'm not even saying Antigua and soca songs. I'm saying
Fet Me a Fet.
Point blank. Period. Yeah, it's a great song.
It ages well though. It aged well though. I don't know why you don't perform it anymore, but
it's a classic. It's like, for me, that's like top 10 Antiguan songs that I like.
So I know you said you did poetry. I know you write most of your own music. I'm assuming that you produce most of your own music as well too.
It depends on what you mean by produce. So if you mean like executive production, yes.
But when I met you in the studio, you were actually making the music behind of the lyrics that you were putting down.
So the last couple of years have been a steep learning curve.
Okay.
At first, when I started working, I thought I could do everything myself. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna record, produce, mix, master, market, one-man team, right?
You catch an aneurysm.
And I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Because of that, because of me attempting to do everything, I learned a lot about engineering, about recording. I learned a lot about a lot. And I also learned that I wasn't the best at everything. And I learned that my writing and my vocal performance were better than my production and my engineering. And if I wanted to paint my creations in the best light, then it made sense to involve people who were better than me in the things that I couldn't do that well myself. So generally I will write something on my own, voice and keys at home. And now I would go to Lesroy Byers. And Lesroy will take what I've played.
So your name drop.
That's right.
We're in the big leagues.
Oakville production.
We're in the big leagues. But continue.
And I'd send it off to Lesroy and he'd say, okay, bet. And hours later, he will send me back something based on what I wrote, but something that sounds completely different. And the great thing about working with the producers that I work with is they let me have input into the sound, so I can say, hey, Lesroy, I love what you did here with the drums, but can you take this out and put this in instead? Yeah,
because the music reflects you and you're the one who have to perform it, right?
So I am involved, but I no longer do all the production on my
heavy
own.
Lifting.
Right. So, for instance, Queen Supreme, which I released, I think, can't remember.
20.
I did maybe half of the production on my iPhone. Then I sent it off to Cisco. Cisco took out my drums. And he added some bells and whistles and he made it sound professional. But usually I send off the idea and they fix it up.
Did you come to the realization that you needed to let go of certain things, or were you mentored, or you came across someone who like, yo, listen, you're going to do this music thing, you have to allow yourself to grow in a certain type of way, or you have to focus more on your strengths, less of your weakness. You have to have a team, person that you can work with.
I think the thing that happened was that I became frustrated with my ability to create the thing that I imagined. So try as I might, no matter how much I sat down on, I think it was Reason and, or was it Ableton at the time that I was trying to work with. Try as I might, like my mixes always sounded terrible. And I'd switch between my mix and Coldplay's mix, and for some reason mine always sounded so small and muffled.
Let me big you up, because clearly you had a lot of ambition, man.
I wanted it to sound the same, and try as I might, it just could not happen. So I said, you know, something has to
mix, bro.
Something had to change.
Mix, bro.
I got so ambitious I got so ambitious, I decided to pick up the phone and call Michael Brower's secretary to ask for a quote. How much does a Coldplay mix cost?
Yo, that's funny as hell. But it's ambitious though.
I got an answer.
How much is it?
Oh man.
You sure you want to disclose that here?
I think at the time I was told it was $5,000 US plus the studio rental and the rental of equipment. And that particular engineer requires that you show up to the session. You can't just stay from Antigua and say, yeah, mix my song. And he says when people show up, that's his ideology. It shows that they're invested in what they're making. So he makes people come. I think they might be... Wow.
I'm just saying. But continue.
I think it might be different in 2023 where you can do like virtual studio attendances, stay in my studio and link up. I don't know, but that number shocked me at the time.
And this was probably like... Well,
this was toward the end of med school.
So that $5,000 may be a lot of money, bro.
Maybe not. I don't know. It was a lot to me.
No, but the $5,000, yeah, as an aspiring artist,
it was a lot to me. I was like, that's.
But think about it. It's just the $5,000 plus you have to go there. Plus you have to rent the equipment. You don't know how much this equipment is going to cost. Plus you have to rent the studio. Some studios can run you up to $1,000 an hour. So you don't know how long he's going to take to mix that.
I put down the phone. I'm like, impossible.
So roughly, just an estimate off the top, we're looking like probably like $25,000 US easily.
Maybe not that much, but it would have been a lot of money. Yeah.
All right, cool.
It would have been a lot of money, and I just didn't have it. So I started experimenting with different people.
Yeah.
Try one thing here with this person, and eventually I kind of learned who's who and who can do what. I'm still in the process of figuring out the team, but I'm much more acquainted with who's who.
Nice. So what was the first actual song that you uploaded to iTunes and you'd be like, this is my first official song?
I say it's Queen Supreme, but it's not.
It isn't.
The first song that I had control of the upload would have been the Christmas song that I did with Jenny Medina, Christmas by My Side.
Yep.
That was done in 2015, uploaded I think in 2016.
And that was done by?
Brookway. Me and Eric were sitting down in the studio. We were listening to the Antigua Christmas songs that year.
Yeah.
And Brookway was like, how come we don't have a Christmas song out? And so we said, why? How come?
And then
it was late and we were soup.
You guys looked at one and I was like,
and then we had a song. I sang the song by myself. And then we sat down and we were like, something missing.
Something was definitely missing.
And then we decided, hey, add Jenny.
Listen, I'm gonna say this, right? We have history, right? So I'm a huge, I listen like a wide variety of music. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite groups is Johnny Swim, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I heard this song, bro, like automatically it referenced to them. It was like, yo, this song was like, and while preparing for this interview, I had to like go back through your catalog as well too. And this, I'm still kind of surprised that this song is still on this island, dude. Like this song is like, it's timeless. For me, it's one of my favorite songs. It's one of my favorite songs from you. It would be in like the top 5 songs from you. That would be up there for real.
I really liked it. Like
hold on, me tell you my love for your song. You tell me you like for your song, bro.
You're an artist. You know exactly how it is to be critical of your work.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if I like half the things I do, and that's just the truth.
Yeah, we always have that conversation. Me and you back and forth. Cause you would send me something like, man, I'm not sure about this. Tell me what you think. I was like, tell me what you're not sure about. The slap that I'm gonna knock you on my sleeve.
But you know what that feels like. Don't pretend like you don't know what that feels like.
Personally, because one of my the most popular songs for myself is the song that I hate the most, actually.
Which one is that?
Search it. Yeah, that's like the passion about.
But people love that song.
That the people.
It's a great song.
I'm not denying the fact that it's not a good song. Don't get me twisted.
So you know exactly how I feel.
Yeah, I do, but
so for me to say I like
you make classics, bro.
For me to say I like Christmas by My Side isn't a I enjoy this. I can listen to it and not go,
Nah, that song. Listen, I could like again, as I said, Johnny Swim, like that's like one of my favorite groups, right? And when I hear that song, it automatically takes me to that place. And I'm not saying like the song was created off of that vibe or anything, but it's like somebody saying, hey, the song that you make sound like one song from Stevie Wonder.
Appreciate
You'll be like,
yeah.
As a musician, you'll be like, all right, cool. Those the ilk people are the groups that I'm trying to
be compared to. Yeah.
So that song is like.
And Jenny just sprinkled all her magic sauce all over the song.
I say, boy, if me and one girl ever broke up around and tiny boy, I was like, yeah, babe, not Christmas Jack. I mean, hear that song, not Christmas Jack. That's cool. So after that, it was Queen Supreme. Queen Supreme. Give me the story behind Queen Supreme.
That was about an ex.
Continue.
It was a love ballad. I literally wrote that at home on the piano. And it was a voice and piano song. That's how I initially came up with it. And I said, you know what is this going to sound like? A little bit faster and with a beat.
That's way far from a love ballad, bro.
No, the original was a love ballad. It was half the tempo. Same key, just me.
Yo, Queen Supreme are like one, like...
It was a slow song.
That's like... That song... The lyrics, So let's go back into the story. So it's about the ex.
Yeah.
And you want to go into detail, or you just want to just leave it in the...
No, it was a song to celebrate her at the time.
Okay. Was it... Okay. I mean, it's a bit personal. Can I give you my take from Queen Supreme? So how I see Queen Supreme is like, you're in love with this girl and, well, no, knowing it's your ex at the time. And you know how females are. Most of them, especially when we as men, especially when we're somebody, we look at that person and it's like, yo, you can't do no wrong. Like, why all this makeup? Why all this fashion thing? Yo, just you out your bed, you're just Queen Supreme, right?
Right.
But you know that sometimes
they need a little bit of
insecurities and all that. So I saw it as, yo, girl, you're the baddest thing out your boss. So you talk about, no, girl can. And if for me, you think that the trouble, then girl, like, impossible. You're the empress.
So that is the vibe.
So that's what I took away from it.
Yeah, spot on.
Because just listening to the song, and I'm the type of person I like to like read lyrics.
Yeah.
So like maybe for the first 10 listens, I'm gonna try to figure out what you're trying to say.
Right.
Some artists, their vocals are so good that you might pick up everything, and then somewhere along the line you might realize, oh, this is what he said in these words. But for that song, I had to be honest, the first listen, it took me off guard, to be honest, because it wasn't something that I was accustomed to. It wasn't something that I was used to from you as well too. So when I heard it, I was like, yeah, I'm not sure. But I always trust your artistic skills and how you express yourself as well too. So I was like, nah, this is Arlen. There has to be somewhere in this song that he tried to send a message that I'm probably missing at this time, right? So I gave it like about 5 listens. I was like, Arlen, good vibe, good groove. I like the beat and everything, but I just don't think this is it, dude. In my mind. Maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks passed, and then, I think you were promoting it or something, and I was like, shit, wait, this can't be the same song. So I normally get the songs from you before they even get mixed and mastered, right? Yeah. So I don't know if that's why. Right. But when I heard it was like you were promoting it, and then I was like, nah, man, it's not the same song. So I'm like, nah, let me go back and listen. I was like, Melo, the same song, but you just sound more refined, your vocals more clean, everything. You understand?
So that's the thing too, like sometimes you make a demo and the demo isn't able to capture what everything is supposed to be. Yeah. So you have to be very careful about showing people demos, because some people don't get it. Some people do. Yeah. But some people don't, and you don't know necessarily what that differentiating factor is. If it's like a mix or a small change in lyrics that you make.
That's true. Because for you, again, I'm accustomed to a certain sound from you, right? So when Queen Supreme came out, it was something far outside of what I was accustomed to from you. Right. So I was like, and I think I was leaning more on your personality as well too, because knowing you, and a lot of persons see us as artists and don't understand that a lot of artists are actually introverts, right? Right. But our job requires us to be extroverts. So a lot of people will see me and be like, oh, yo, I always want it's hard to put in words. Yeah. And then when they see me and they see me extremely reserved, it's like, yo, Melo, what happened to you? I was like, dude, this is who I am all the time. Every time you see me, whatever antics you see me I'm doing, it's a show. It's just because, again, as an entertainer, you always have to be.
It's show business. It's a persona.
24/7.
And I haven't even mastered that yet. For me, I'm trying to figure out a way that I could be most myself on stage while being entertaining at the same time. It's the thing that I'm still trying to work on.
But you see, what I like about you as an artist, right, is that you're a vocalist, so you can sing very well.
Yeah.
2, you know how to express yourself artistically through your pen in terms of your writing skills and the song that you want to portray as well too. So I always tell you, it's not much you have to do. Just be you. Just go on stage and be you. Whatever the vibe hit you, just do it. Don't try to be too much because it will show. Authenticity is very important in the industry. Because if you give your fans something and then try to take it back after a few years because now you're trying to be like, okay, I'm going to be my true self.
Right.
You're going to lose.
And also, if
it's
something that I'm doing to make a living, something that is now my vocation,
right?
I kind of want to be honest about who I am while I'm doing it.
So that's why
because it could be exhausting pretending to be something that you're not.
You're talking to somebody, right? That in 2 years, we're on, like, if Antigua had 22 fed in 2 years in a carnival season within the 3 months, we were on at least 20.
Yikes.
And every night you had to go out and put on a show for people. No offense, but you have to put on a show that sometimes I just want to come on stage, stand up, sing my song like how can I put it? Like, I don't even know how to do it. Like, just come put the mic, sing my song, and then come on. But that's not what it is. You have to go and dance and wink up and
there's a certain expectation of that too. Yeah. And for me, it's like, I think it was you. You were like, Arlen, go and watch. I think it was Maxwell you made me watch.
I told you, go and watch Maxwell. And Maxwell
it was you.
Maxwell
he stood there
with a mic and a stand, and Maxwell was performative.
And then after that, I watched several other artists. And I realized, man, I don't have to run left and right. I don't have to do backflips. I don't have to have...
You don't have to. Your goal is to make sure your music gets to as much people as possible. That's cool.
I don't have to ride in on an elephant.
Because you have some people that's going to love you for your recording, listen to you on iTunes, Spotify, whatever platform they listen to you on. And they have some people that's going to actually come out and support you and watch you as an artist. And that's 2 different demos. Let's be clear. They have some people that's going to, when they see you listen to you on the music, they picture you certain way, and then they come and it's like, okay, this is not what I picture.
Right.
You know what? Let me stick to this, buying your music because this is not what I picture. And you have some people that when they buy your music, that's what they picture, whatever they picture. And even if you come out and you give them a different energy, like, you know what? I love this artist. I love you. Whatever you give me, I'm going to accept it because I'm not saying you're going to give them mediocre, but you're going to give them you.
Right. And
they will understand, okay, let me not try to create an image from the music. Okay, this is who he is. Okay, let's marry the two. And this is what I accept and this is who you are. And I told you that from the get-go. This is what I learned in the last 2 years. Just be you, bro.
Yeah, so I'm trying to be more comfortable doing that.
So after Queen Supreme, then you released an EP called Live in the Moment.
Live in the Moment.
What inspired that EP? I mean, I think it's self-explanatory, but
still. Well, this one isn't sexy though. the real true answer is not sexy.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get into it.
The unsexiness of it all is this. I work with David Sisko. He is the producer behind Queen Supreme and half the production behind the same Christmas song.
Okay.
Sisko came to me and he said, "Hey, Arlen, man."
You be bugging. You wild.
He said, well, his publishers are looking for placements for film, TV ads.
Correct.
And he had a bunch of creative briefs. Yeah. So what happens is a lot of artists who have publishing deals and producers who have publishing deals have to write songs according to certain specifications for certain projects. So if you have
movies, TV series,
ads, I mean, this is how a lot of people make a living.
Yeah, sure.
And when your song gets picked for a Pepsi commercial, or what, you could do very, very well for yourself.
A lot of rappers have like platinum plaques.
Yeah.
And the actual biggest check is from
a sync from an ad. That's right. So Cisco's like, hey man, Arlen, COVID's been hard for everybody. And we are not getting a lot of funding for your music. Gigs are slow, but his publisher wants songs that he can pitch.
Yeah.
And so he said, let's see how fast we can turn some songs around. He sent me like 3 or 4 beats. He sent me the creative briefs. They have to sound like this kind of subject matter, this kind of feel. Can you turn them around? And I'm like, you know what? What do I have to lose?
You know what's funny about Live in the Moment is even though you got a script, I think he gave it to the perfect person. Because this is my interpretation of most of the songs on there. I felt like all your life, for me, this is how I feel, and that's why I like the EP as well too, because for most of my life I've been told what to do.
Yeah.
It feels like even to this day, like I had made the decision to make, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this decision. Everyone's like, yo, that's stupid. Yo, I'm gonna take the decision. Yeah. And then the pressure comes, I was like, all right, cool. And then after I made the decision, I was like, yo, you know, I have some regrets, right? For me, what I like about Living in the Moment is like, again, it was like you pushing it back against the status quo. It was like, yo, listen, everything that everybody's telling you, yeah, you can take it with a grain of salt, but just sit down, analyze, and try to figure it out. And make sure you make the best decision that's for you.
Yeah, okay. You get that kind of job. You learn how to keep it personal, but still do the work. So every song on the EP is autobiographical in some kind of way. What
would you consider your favorite song off of that EP?
It changes.
Explain to me why.
Some days you wake up and you're feeling one song, and then the next day, but I do like Live in the Moment. I do like Queen Supreme. And I do like Faithful Journey.
So that's the next question I was going to ask you. Faithful Journey. What was the inspiration behind of that song specifically?
Cisco wrote the chorus.
Okay.
All night we're on a faithful journey. Yeah. And when I heard it, I was like, man, this kind of sounds like me taking the leap. You know, that leap that Steve Harvey talked about, when you take the leap of faith and into doing whatever it is your calling is. And so that's exactly what that song is about. It's about me, you know, stepping out in faith. That this whole music thing is going to work out. Yeah, and again, for that song, I felt like as well, to listening and understanding the lyrics as well to that song, it's like, you know, whatever anybody tell you that success is, or whatever anyone tells you that, oh, this is how success looks like, forget that, dude. Yeah. Had a bit of sense. Yeah. I heard you said in other interviews that, you know, you've spoken to doctors who actually been practicing for years, and they look back at their life and be like, yo, if I could do this again, I wouldn't even do medicine. Whereas for us who don't have a medical degree, we look at them as like, yo, the holy grail, like, yo, you're at the top of the food chain, you understand? So what everyone's definition of success is really, and that's what I took from that song personally. Yeah, because you're responsible for your own happiness. You know what I mean? Not what everybody thinks you should be happy doing. Who best to say that besides you? Because, you know, you actually took that into your own hands. You decided to listen, this is the path I want. I mean, mom, dad, I understand, but this is the path I want, and this is the path I'm going for. And the world respects it too, you know what I mean? People don't like risk. Fortune favors the brave. People don't like risk, but once you step out and it starts working out, everyone will get behind you and they'll be like, yeah, man, we knew it. Yeah, that's true. We knew it all along. Is Fantasize on a part of that EP as well too? Or no. Fantasize came after though? So Fantasize was written before. Fantasize is one of those that has a long ass story. I wrote Fantasize maybe in like 2013, 2014. And at that time it was on a beat from Just Bus. Yeah. And you took it off that beat? I took it off the beat. Yeah. I wanted to do more, but Justin was kind of happy with the vision that we had before, and I didn't feel like it reflected who I wanted to be as an artist at the time. And then when I was doing rotations, I hired Hanny and some of the guys from Black Gold, before Black Gold existed, to put some parts to it. Yeah. And Black Gold played that song a lot out at Scully's. We played the hell out of that song. We played it often. We played it loud.
Because I knew I heard that song somewhere, but I wasn't sure exactly where I heard that song. And that's why in my notes I was like, "Yo, is this a cover or this is the original song?" But when I went online, like
you couldn't find it.
No, but when I looked in the because it's on stuff right now, right? But when I looked in the credits, I realized, oh no, this is an Arlen song. So I was like, okay, this is not a cover. So that was
one of the songs that I wanted so badly to record as
the group
Black Gold. Yeah. And we had a recording of it with some of the Black Gold members, but it wasn't a Black Gold record. And when that was done, because it was an Arlen record, I paid for everything.
Yeah.
I decided not to put it up because I wanted it to feel a little bit more hip hop and a little bit less rock. So if you heard the other version, it was a lot more guitar, a lot more distortion,
right.
And it was a different feel.
What's the inspiration behind that song? If you
I was frustrated. I was in school. I had to study. I didn't want to be studying. And
I think all musicians face the same thing, right? And it's weird that I could just listen to this song and be like, all right. Because again, for each song, I made notes to ask you just to make sure we're on the same part. And in my notes, it's a harsh reality of that most face when they get older. One would think that, we would evolve as human beings in society. But in actual reality, we just double down on it.
I was mad when I wrote that song.
Exactly, like we just double down on all the...
You called me disciplined in high school. I studied my ass off. I wasn't going to no parties. Like,
you did.
I graduated.
You did.
Magna cum laude at Morehouse.
You did.
Phi Beta Kappa. You should have seen me in my gown with all the stoles and shit.
You did.
I looked like it was Mardi Gras. And then people who left school a decade before me are making triple the money. When I wrote that song, I was mad because it's like they told me if you work hard,
correct.
Everything's gonna be great, and then you work hard, and then
everything. Yo, listen, I'm gonna be honest, and that's why I rock with you so much, right? Because we kind of on the same path, right? Because growing up, everyone said, "Yo, go to school, do this, do that," and we did everything, and coming to realize, dude, what could have literally give us the life that we want is what we could be doing, like the music. You understand? And that's why I kind of like took a hiatus from it a bit, because as much as all the success that was happening, it was still being, yo, you have to do this. You have to go this way. You have to go that way. And I was like, yo, until I can dictate where I want to go, let me just left eye some bars. And that's what I like about this song as well too, because as I said, it's an extremely harsh reality that most face. We're going through life and everything, everybody's telling you to do this, do that. And then not only when you show them that there's a different path, instead they'd be like, all right, let me accept that. Okay, let's explore. No, they double down. Yo, what you're doing is BS.
Yeah.
This is what you're supposed to do. I was like, but I'm successful. There are examples of successful people out here, and they'd be like, okay, who cares?
There are no rules. Do whatever you want.
Success it's not a one shoe fit all.
There's somebody right now getting rich off of selling socks. They're selling socks and they have more money than you.
You're not like that's facts, bro. That's motherfucker. You talk about socks. People don't even sell socks. People sell the material they use to make the socks.
Exactly.
They not even sell the actual product. They must sell the material to the product and extreme millionaires and so on. So
yeah, so that was an important song.
And then recently you released the song Kindness. Yo. Let me big you up. I'm a big you up. When you do well, I'm a big you up. Kindness, you do it. Listen. And you know who hurt you? I don't know whoever put that spoke in your wheel, bro. But if me see them today, I'll buy them a nice drink, because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't get this song, dude. So, for example, there's like in the first verse you have, you think you're strong for kicking a man when he's down. My eyes will see the days fast approaching when you will stretch out your hand this way
in need of kindness.
Dog. I feel like somewhere underneath you or inside you, you have some way for jibes and word from people. But you just decide, you know, tell them about their granddad and their grandfather. Let me just put this in a very kind way and channel this to a song. Talk to me about that song. I mean, you know.
On the next episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
So you keep that one close. Man, I felt like, no, that song hard, bro. That song.
It's actually one of my favorites. I think Les Roy did a really good job with this one.
That song hard, bro.
I think last time I said Oakville Productions, but it's Oakville Collective. That's Les Roy's production thing.
Yeah.
Transformed by Les Roy. And he did a kick-ass job. The drums were put on by Dennis White, who's a producer from the UK.
Okay.
But
nice.
Between Les Roy and Dennis,
what's the reception been so far in that song?
It's good.
Yeah?
It's good.
That sounds hard. Have you performed it live yet?
Perform it live all the time.
You perform it live more on these like
on my gig.
That kind of song. I listened to that song over and over, and I was like, all right, cool. Actually, that's the first thing I wanted to ask you when we started the podcast.
About kindness?
Yeah, dog. That song slap, bro. But it's deep, to be honest. And I can relate to it a lot too, as I said, because again, people see people as everyone in life, everyone thinks somebody's going somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you look like you're going somewhere. And a lot of people a lot of people are lost and don't know where they're going and don't figure out their path and their journey. So they see you like you're onto something and be like, yo, me jump on this bandwagon, right? And then when they get on the bandwagon, they feel like, cool. Yeah, me jump on this bandwagon because he go somewhere more and go with you. But, that's where you go? Oh, hell no. You go there? Tal, I mean to go there yet? Are you Tal? Nah, let me kick you off.
On the next episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
You don't have to explain. I'm just saying what I gathered from the song. I was like, nah.
You're very, very insightful.
Let me kick you off with this bandwagon boss. Hell no. When in actuality, they should just, cool. Since I don't know where I'm going and he's going somewhere, I can aid him getting there. On that journey while he's getting there or she's getting there, let me help them out. And maybe I might figure my way out. Or when they get there, in hopes that person help and pull me back, or help me find my so-called why or whatever the buzzword is. But it's just a very, I took it as a personal song to me personally. I don't know how, again, on the next episode, I get on the information.
No, when the mics are off.
I hear you. So what's next for Arlen Seaton right now?
A lot.
Hold on, that's your actual name. Let's just be clear to clear the air, right?
Charles Arlen Seaton, different to Charles Antioch Seaton, who's my father, with a Bible middle name, Antioch, for the internet.
What the hell is that? What does that mean?
I don't know. I just felt like saying it.
Because I know you were experimenting. You were trying to figure out, in terms of what you should
be called. Yeah, I remember that time.
I was like, yo, dude, what the hell is wrong with Arlen Seaton? There's nobody else in the world.
There was a time I wanted to just be Arlen.
Yeah.
And then every time I did a show,
somebody say Arlen?
Whoever the MC was, whether it's Ibis, whoever, they just felt the need
to say the full name.
To say the full name. And I decided, you know what?
Yeah, because you come in like Chris Brown. It's like, we can't say Chris. You have to say Chris Brown.
But you can say Rihanna.
That's Rihanna, come on.
It's Rihanna because she became Rihanna.
Because it comes off of the lingual, like when I want to say the other word, pause, but it just come off like Rihanna. Like, what you gonna put behind? Okay, let's do it. Let's explore. What you gonna put behind Rihanna? Honestly.
Anything.
Give me a break. Rihanna.
No, like.
She could have married Rihanna Thomas. You know, that's so weird, Rihanna Thomas.
No, the thing is, the way you feel about the name comes after the way you feel about the person. Right? Eventually, if you say it enough, if that person becomes important enough, whatever it is that they say they are, that's just what they are.
But you see what you said? When they become what? Because Puff Daddy changed from Puff Daddy to P Diddy to Love to because
he felt like
because sometimes he has some equity that he can do it and people accept it. But Arlen Seaton is not a.
There's a mentor of mine. The first time he saw me perform, I don't perform with shoes. There's no profound reason. Yeah. I just feel comfortable like that.
We spoke about it.
Right? Yeah. But when he first saw me take my shoes off, he said to me after, Arlen, you sounded great, but
the shoes.
Where are your shoes? It looks terrible. oh man, why are you doing that? That is not right. Like, but you know what happened? I stuck to my guns. Now, if I don't take my shoes off,
people look at you.
He himself has a big problem, Arlen.
You can but hey, but you still stuck with Arlen Seaton because you felt the so at some point you plunged into just Arlen.
No, this is fine. Arlen Seaton, point blank, full stop. That's the end. People will accept it if you're sure about it.
Yeah,
they won't have a choice.
Yeah, that's true. Because I did say that to you when you were looking at you weren't performing the shows. I asked you why, and you were like, I don't know. I just felt comfortable doing it.
Right.
And what did I tell you? All right, let's figure out how to market this then.
Right.
Let's figure out the market strategy behind this. If this is how you feel comfortable, let's figure out the market strategy behind it. Because to be honest, there's nobody else in the industry who's actually doing that.
The thing is, it's not even a gimmick. But for me, I'm just trying to be myself, so I don't feel like I'm going to work. I don't. The difference between this and doing medicine was that I don't feel like I'm working. I'm getting paid, but I get to show up and have a good time. Not that it doesn't require work, because it's a lot of work. When I leave here, I have a bunch of work to do, music wise, but it doesn't feel like a task.
It sounds cliche when people say do what you like, right? I'll do what you love, but
it's true. A couple of weeks ago, Torsten Stenzel, or better known as York, he's a German producer who now lives in Antigua. He's lived here for a while. He reached out to me to do a cover of a song that's going wild on TikTok. I don't have to write anything. He just wanted some vocals for this project. But he's collaborating with another guy, another producer, Aaron Hirsch, and they're putting that song out on Friday.
Are we getting any visuals for this song? This is one thing. This is one area I think. I don't know if it's your marketing strategy or it's just you just haven't had the time to get to it yet. Yeah, but I think you need more visual. That's why I'm
working on it. I have like a couple of things that I've shot. So my thing was that I spend a lot of time and effort and money for my music to sound a certain way. And I didn't want to match that audio, my masterpieces, with mediocre visuals. And so I wanted to be able to present something that would adequately reflect what I was trying to accomplish with the music itself. And I couldn't do that without funding. Lately, I've decided to acquiesce a little bit, and I have been trying to shoot stuff on my own. And I get help once in a while. It's not the high budget kind of thing, but I'm trying to be more creative and independent until the point comes at which I can afford stuff that looks like what I want it to look like. But even the little things, even like little Instagram reels that I'm experimenting with now seem to kind of be working. It's a steep learning curve.
Let me tell you this. Let me give you a piece of advice, right? It's not so much the equipment. It's much more of the story that you're trying to tell.
Right.
And then you try to match the story with the equipment that you have.
Okay.
So perfect example. If you're shooting on a phone, then you try to figure out, okay, this is the equipment that I have. This is a story that I want to tell. How can I use this equipment to tell this story?
Right.
That can match the vocals that I'm having, right?
Right.
Because some of the best videos I could tell you are like in one, like somebody that's taking a phone and it's just, but a lot of people see somebody take their phone and be like, oh, that's all he did? Okay, I can do it. No, actually, it's a whole production behind that phone.
Yeah.
You understand? So they decide, all right, this is the equipment that we have. We don't have anything else. All right, cool. But we have a bunch of creative people that can come up with this idea or this script or how we want it to look.
Yeah.
And let's do that. So that's the good a piece of advice I could give to you. Because, and this is coming from trial and error.
I mean, so over the last couple months, I have been experimenting with shooting stuff.
Right.
I shot a phone video for Fantasize that I'm editing now. I'm getting some help. Kelvin Christopher. And so I'm experimenting now with just shooting little things and learning about the process, learning about telling the story, and trying to see that as an extension of the music and of the art. It's a lot to learn, but it's also kind of fun. The thing that I wish now was that I had more time on my hands, because I still do have a day job, which I'm grateful for.
Just to throw that in there, just to make sure, you
know. But time on my hands to experiment with that kind of thing.
Nice. Okay, so what's the next track that Arlen Seaton will be releasing, apart from the cover that you'll be doing?
7th of July, 7/7, Till the Pain Is Gone. It's going to be the next original single. It's actually is one of my favorite songs that I've done.
To date.
Period. This is another old song though. Okay, this one, I could tell y'all.
Yeah.
This one happened when I was studying for board exams, and my adopted grandmother from St. Kitts passed away.
Oh, condolences. Okay.
I mean, it was a while ago, but.
So this song means a lot then.
Yeah. I mean, they all do.
Correct.
But this one kind of had
more sentimental values as opposed to the. And as you said, this will be releasing on the 7th of July. Time? You have a time? Are we getting visuals from this?
But I'm gonna try to work on some visuals for it.
No, that's cool. I mean, again, for me personally, I will share it on my platform, and I know you have a huge following here on Ireland as well too. That would give you the support. So we are looking forward to that. So just to wrap this up, how would your friends describe you?
Silly.
How would you describe yourself?
Ooh. I don't know. I think a lot of things.
Give me one word to describe yourself that you would use to describe yourself.
Determined.
What would be something that you would want your audience or your fans to recognize about you?
That I am trying to be my most true self to myself, and that's what all the music is about.
In terms of your gigs, where people can find you, if they're not private gigs, because I know you do.
So I do. Most of them are private
for now.
The last public one that I'm going to do with any regularity is going to be finished before this podcast comes out. That's Mondays at South Point.
All right. So then we'd have to catch you when season.
So next season.
So anything after October, so we'll catch you, right?
Yeah.
All right. And you're always welcome to come back here. We always discuss anything that's pressing. Also, where can people find you on social media platforms? And
Instagram, Facebook, all listening platforms, Spotify, Apple Music,
Audio Max,
YouTube. Everything is Arlen Seaton across the board. Easy to find.
But again, thanks for coming through, bro.
It's been a pleasure. It was fun. Thank you for having me.
Respect you.